I got it. That's
I
it.
think it's spelled
Oh yeah,
RECORD.
it's
And
almost
it's
a red
red.
button.
And
It's
it's
almost a
red.
red button.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. He's got it.
So the Smile Project it was done it started off being a project that was to highlight the technology of a blockchain that we're building, but without talking about that, because we're kind of in digital silence. So how much do these guys know? I mean, I know Harold knows all about
Right. Patrick knows. Patrick knows some.
Okay.
They all downloaded the app.
Okay.
They've been interacting with it.
So we're kind of like in digital silence on the project. Every partner that comes on, we tell them you can share share this in your circles, but no posting online, and no articles being written, and keeping all academia out of it right now. And we've been under wraps for about 2 years, and that project is just getting ready to go live. But before we went live, we wanted to launch a couple of projects on it, and to let people see the thing, actually the technology working for something that's totally out of the box, right? That has nothing to do with blockchain. So my group decided to do something that we've done in the past, is just creating viral campaigns and getting behind groups that can make an impact. It could be something silly, a dance. It could be, dumping the ice bucket over your head. All different kind of people putting a certain jingle up and getting it to go viral. I mean, this is just kind of the things that we've done in the past. So we when I was presented with it, we started going through this pandemic, and this was in January, actually, when we started building this. And we were like, man, everybody I started talking to around the world, everybody was getting, this pandemic was affecting everybody, right? And I was like, man, maybe we should build something that lightens the load up a little bit. And then everything else started happening around the world, and everybody's going in isolation. Everybody's getting this pent up frustrations, right? And I said, man, now the Smile Project ended up growing into something that was supposed to be just this little project just to kind of show off the technology, into something that a group came in behind us and took over the Smile Project. They're going to be after the corporations. We did a feeder program to see what kind of response we got back from the corporations, asking them, would you support a movement on Smiles if we could help people out in the pandemic? And brands were like, listen, you go get Smiles the way you guys are going to do it, and we're behind you. So everything kind of started blossoming over this last 6-7 weeks. And what we did is we went back through it and we built it to mirror the tracking of the virus. And so we're going to just show that the Smiles are more infectious than the viruses around the world. And how this works, will allow everybody to create teams, and then people can join the teams, and then the teams will compete against each other on a daily basis, from region to region to, any kind of direct competition with each other, whatever they want to do. And the teams get a team link, and you can send that out to your groups, share it in your social media, your communities, and ask those people to become smile carriers on your team. And all of the smiles that are generated from those people go up to the team. So it's an individual competition from the people that can create smiles individually, and it's also a team competition. And every smile that's created, so to our donors, what we're doing is we're going back to them and saying, listen, we're using blockchain technology to authenticate each smile. And so we can prove that each smile is really a person that said, yes, that made me smile, and they signed it. And we can prove that this isn't a bot. It wasn't somebody just sitting here clicking buttons. And so we can show the true reach of what's happening with the project, right? And Smiles, on a different level, Smiles have all these different powers that make people release different hormones and lightens things up. So we can do a lot of great things with the Smile Project, and at the same time we can help bring awareness to and help find people that are being affected by this pandemic. So like you'll understand with the orphanage, you know, you have, I mean, people don't understand how this thing trickles down, right? Because even in the orphanage, you don't have the volunteers out doing the things they need to do to be able to raise the money to be able, it could be a simple brownie cake off or bake off, right? I mean, but you didn't have it this year, right? So I mean, and it's a simple $800 that you didn't get, that you thought you always get. It's every Saturday, the 4th of July, and this year you didn't have it. And so all these different small groups that just didn't have their volunteer help to be able to do a can drive or do the, I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. I mean, it's just people don't understand that it's not the a lot of these guys have these smaller groups. They have a lean budget. I mean, you know, they run on you know $2,800 a year. You know, I mean, just to keep the lights on. And when they don't get it, you know, they don't. It's not like they're already working. You know, it's usually a husband-wife deal or a small family deal, and you know they're already working a second job. So anyway, we all know that there's people that are having effects not only in this country but all over the world that are having effect by the pandemic. So what we decided to do is, so listen, the people that took over the Smile Project from a nonprofit group, they wanted to say, well, listen, let's show off all the technology then, and so we'll be a nonprofit. We'll go out and get the donations. We'll get people to donate for every confirmed smile out there. We'll help let the awareness of smiles help us bring in the money for it. But then we'll go a step farther and we'll allow all the smilers to find the people that need the funding and let them all vote on where the funding goes back out to. And we'll still use all the blockchain technology behind it to be able to do all the voting and the transparency to show that all the money that came in through this foundation all went back out to the pandemic. So, you know, it's just so like I said, it ended up being a showcase for our technology, but then it ended up becoming this morphed into this totally different thing that we never talked about. So, I mean, so when you guys go and set up your team accounts, you're going to see that, you know, there's never nothing talked about what you get. And we'll talk a little bit of that because like I told Ray, there's going to be this 1 degree of separation from the root information. And I'll kind of tell you the back story of how we're going to roll this, how the other part's going to roll live and what it means to us. But when you're doing these, everybody, the Opus side, when anybody's authenticating any actions, they're actually mining a coin. Okay. And so when they're getting that coin right now, we're not going to tell anybody why that coin is. It almost looks like on the site, it will just look like a leaderboard. So you're getting points and we don't want to tell them anything about it. Right. That strategy, I mean, it'll totally screw up our whole entry into the market if we sit there and try to tell people you're getting paid to smile. I mean, that's not what this is about. But at the same time, after we roll this out, the app will actually turn over. So when the blockchain project goes live, all of a sudden right now, when you guys have all downloaded the app, you probably saw that it just says you have so many OS. Well, when the next version of when the thing goes live, it won't say you have so many OS. It'll say you have $19 or you have $32. Do you want to withdraw? Do you want to buy more? Do you want to? I mean, it'll come alive as a financial instrument, right? And so when that happens, we'll send a message out to everybody that has the app and says, listen, you know, whatever project you were on, whatever you're doing, however you got these coins, thank you for what you've done. Keep using the service. And if you want to, you know, if you want to withdraw the funds, this is how you do it. And, you know, thank you for whatever you did, because there's going to be another project that's running on the other side of us that has a totally different approach, that still is doing the same thing. It's not Smiles, but I mean, they're doing the same thing as showing the technology off of how to run streaks and how to run co-regs through it. And, you know, so they're a different type of traffic, and, but just showing how they can build a user base. Now, the whole thing about Opus is it is one large, you know, lack of better words, it's a decentralized bank, right? I mean, All it is users that all have bank accounts on this chain. That's it. And everybody's going to start building services against it, right? And anything that you would attach, anything you think that in the real world you would attach to a user base with a bank account, that's what people are going to do against this chain. So very, I mean, and now, we've been building this for almost 3 years. And now if you're in the blockchain industry, you're probably seeing all this DeFi stuff, right? I mean, we kind of laugh because we've been on this for 3 years. And that's exactly what the whole chain is just a decentralized bank with all banking services that people are building against it, right? Or financial services, better term than banking services. But anyway, so the Smile project is really, we can kind of divide it into two. So the Smile project really is right now, it's going to drive downloads and it's going to get people involved, because the only way that you can confirm your Smile is you have to download the Opus ID app and you have to scan the QR code to authenticate your Smile. So all the Smilers will join a team and they will scan a QR code. It will give them a URL to put somewhere, wherever they're trying to do their Smiles. And we'll run 2 hashtags that will have everybody hashing, and we'll pull all those back into a social wall. And then we'll take that social wall and we'll go out to corporate sponsors and we'll get them to play that social wall inside their spaces, right? So if it's Times Square, or if it's on the big board on 405, we'll get spaces. And for being a nonprofit right now, and the connections we have inside the corporate world, we feel we can get the Smile wall in a lot of different places, right? And all that is just everybody that's playing the game out in the world. All the Smile project is going to be played on social networks, but we'll pull all those hashtags into one wall to allow people to see what's going on, right? And kind of make it, it needs to be really lighthearted and it needs to be global, right? So, and then if you have somebody, there will be a way to let's say you have like your orphanage and you're saying, hey, listen, create a video, go to the Twitter, tweet it. If the main Twitter account likes it, it'll go into the system and all the Smilers can vote on that video to say, hey, yeah, let's fund it, right? And so, I mean, we're going to allow the Smilers to find the people that need the money, and we're going to allow them to distribute the money. So it's kind of a unique play in the nonprofit organizations, that we believe that if we can get penetration on the Smiles, that we believe that the corporate world right now is in the climate that we're in, is they need a place to be able to make sure their brand is being seen, but in a very neutral light. And so it's perfect timing for us, right? So, I mean, they can get behind a project that's very neutral and still get their name out there, right? So it is what it is, right? So, I mean, for us, it's good timing to be able for us to get to the people that really need the money. So this is my other, and I don't know how much Ray's told you about me, but I've been, my life's been around humanitarian efforts for the last 15, 17 years, right? And the toughest thing that we have to always do is find the right people to give the money to. I mean, it sounds odd, but it takes a lot of groundwork, a lot of boots on the ground to be able to find the right groups to give the money to that end up doing the right things with the money. And the slippage and the leakage that goes through organizations is ridiculous, especially when you start dealing with outside the country, right? So the cool thing about this is, you know how people are, especially people on social media, they're like hound dogs. And they will, if you say that Christy needs, she's a beautician and she's lost her business and they need, $800 to be able to keep her business open, and she does a tear jerking, video, I guarantee you, if she's not true,
Yeah.
I guarantee that she's going to get exposed when she puts that video out, and then people are like, "What are you talking about? She's driving a BMW. She's got, she's got this going on." I mean, that's not the person we need to be giving money to, right? So, I mean, it's going to be this kind of this crowd finding and crowd, vetting situation that I think that if we pull it off, I think there'll be other people with inside the nonprofit groups, or especially foundations that are feeding into nonprofits, a better way to be able to distribute the money, right? So that's kind of the project on a whole, right? I mean, we tried to make it very simple, as far as from a lift. There is friction in here, right? I mean, so you guys are all in marketing, so you understand that there is some friction. So we're trying to lower that friction as much as possible in a viral campaign. I mean, you still got to download an app, but we've had success with people having to download apps before to do something. But we're trying to make that process of doing it, and then once you've downloaded the app, to start playing the game is real seamless, right? And so it's not perfect, but this is a little bit unique in itself, right? So I mean, and we're trying to make it be able to be played on any social platform, right? So no matter what, we don't want you to be just on one vertical, right? So, especially this being global, we need it to be able to be played throughout the social space, right? So that's kind of the project, guys. I mean, I can let's see, let me share my screen here.
And I'm just, just to clarify everything, it benefits these guys because the OS that they'll be collecting, and that OS will become, becoming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second.
Okay. My bad.
You're good. I mean, we'll talk kind of how we're going to turn, when we turn the chain. Let's see. Am I on my right screen?
Yeah. I got
Okay.
this.
So this is the site itself. And so this basically just this is stage right now, but we should be complete with all of our last edits and pushed live on this on next week. So we're updating the chain right now to be able to handle what the Streak project and the Smile project is going to throw at it here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So we should be complete with everything by midweek next week. We'll start having some daily calls on the Smile project with teams. I think that we're going to see a lot of cool things. I mean, we have like high schools are going to compete against each other. We have national groups that are going to compete against each other. I think there's even going to be some city competitions. So I mean, you can get into artist competitions. I think there's going to be a lot of cool different things where people, they challenge people out and call them out, right? And say, hey, listen, this is my team. You get your team, and let's see who gets the most smiles in the next how many ever days, right? So we need to make it kind of, we need to make a game out of it, right? And that's part of all of our, especially the people that are running the teams, because the teams let me go to so what'll happen is this will chart this here chart every smile that's coming in, right? So you'll see as the smiles are happening, you'll see the smiles popping on this from all over the world. No different than the virus is popping on here. And we'll lay the virus stats. You'll be able to either see smiles only, virus stats, or both of them together, and see if the heat zones are in the same places, or they're, the infection rate's different in different places, and really kind of play into smiles are more infectious, right? And so this is you'll be able to see the smile infection rate just like the virus infection rate. So we'll lay those together and see from when we started tracking the virus compared to tracking the smiles. This is just fun stats. We'll see where the smiles are coming from, what platforms are being smiled on, what socials are being devices. Like I said, this is just kind of fun stuff that everybody can have fun with it, right? And then what countries are getting the most smiles, what regions are getting the most smiles, what cities are getting the most smiles.
But that's also too kind of showing off what you're talking about, the technology, right, Richie?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, right? So just forget the smiles, right? This could be any group, and you could be doing the same thing with the technology behind the chain, right? So, and then on the leaderboard would be all the teams. How many smile carriers they have? How many smiles are they at by today? The past, different criteria. What is the top city they're smiling in? And this is the OS rewards. So everybody's getting these OS rewards, and we're going to use the Smile Project. When they talk about it, they're just going to say it's just a point system to rank everybody, right? So all the smilers that are on this team, anytime they earn OS for their smiles, the same amount goes to the team. So whatever team is behind this. And like I said, there's not gonna be nowhere on here saying, hey, listen, your OS is worth this much and you're getting this much per OS, and it's not. We don't want it to turn into that. But from where Ray was going with it earlier is, at the end of this, OS will be turned on when we turn on our exchange for the Opus chain. There will automatically be an oracle for pricing. And when that pricing does, it'll turn the app into you're looking more like your bank account instead of just what is OS, right? And when that happens, you're going to see OS will come with a value instead of just, you have so many OS. So when that happens, obviously people are going to be saying, okay, well, where is this, how do I have $18,000 in my wallet now? What do I do with it, right? And what we'll do is we'll go back through and mine all these people. And when I mean it by mine, I mean in a good way. We'll go back and say, listen, give your OS maybe to your team, right? You can donate there'll be a button here that says donate all my OS to the team. So all the people all the people that were on our team, maybe they start giving their OS to different people, right? And we'll get a second wind out of we created all these people, right? And then we're going to go back and give them the power to be able to fund things that they didn't even know that they were getting money for, right? So it can be a cool thing, because now they're finding people, and then all of a sudden it turns into money. And all of a sudden now they can say, hey, listen, I want to help that lady out that was losing her petition. I'll donate my OS to her, right? And then she can take that OS and turn it into fiat in a click of a button, turn it into cash, right? So anyway, so the OS rewards, it looks just like a point. It just looks like it's something you're getting rewards, and it's a point structure. And it's kind of like 7-Eleven points. And but at the end of the day, when it turns over, we'll go back to these people and explain to them now what they could do with their OS, because they can transfer the OS to something. There'll be a place to donate your OS to, either somebody that needs it, or to your team, or even the teams can donate. So the teams themselves could say, hey, we want to donate all of our OS to this group that needs it, right? So this is the confirm smiles. So when somebody clicks that out on let's say wherever you're at, let's say you're on TikTok, and somebody gets driven to your, or is trying to smile because you're making them smile, and they say, yeah, and they come to your link. They'll come to this page, and there'll be a QR code right here that they're asked to scan with their Opus ID app. And that, right when they do that, they'll be taken right to the tracker, and the tracker will show them, their smile just showed up. And the smile wall. So this is we haven't turned this on yet, but this will be tracking all the different posts that are being with our hashtags, and it'll track. Right now, I think we're up to maybe 17 different social sites, and we're adding more of the social sites in the East right now in Russia and Asia. So, but you'll be able to sit here and watch this. You can do it. Of course, you can do it on your PC. But our goal is to get this smile wall on displays in hospitals and clinics, and everywhere that is in the medical field, that we're trying to bring light to the pandemic, right? And so we have some very large medical groups that are all supporting us that said, yeah, we'll get that put on all the displays throughout the hospital, throughout the clinics, and so when people are seeing this, it's kind of a funny thing, but if you pull it up on your phone, there'll be a link name here. So if you're looking at it on a monitor, you can pull it up on your phone. And when you click these, it just pulls it up into here, and then you'll have the link here that makes you go out and smile. So you can see what the person's trying to make you smile, and you go to their link. So it's really simple. I mean, you guys have been around this. You guys understand how all this technology works, but just the way we integrated everything is try to make it really easy and make it, whenever you're trying to get something to go viral on the in social media, it's got the friction's got to be really low, right? And so we know we have a little bit of friction, more than I would like, but this is about as low as we could get it. And then really just getting people to from the corporate side, getting people to talk about Smile Project, and then from our side is just getting people to start having fun competing with each other, right?
Yep.
You guys have any questions?
You're muted, Patrick.
Patrick, you're muted, yeah.
There you go.
I didn't want the dog barking. So are you able to have like your own project, or is it a project that's only going to be determined by everybody that looks at it and says where the funds are going to go? Such as, can you have your own program for the orphanage and all of the smiles that are generated in terms of the coin, goes to them, or is it all going into a pool distributed by whoever says where you want it to go?
Okay, you're real faint there, but I think that what you're saying is just, can you put your own? I mean, where did the coins go? That if my team is team Superman, and we got everybody that's joining my team are creating smiles. Well, all the people that are creating smiles, they're getting rewarded for those smiles. All those coins are going to my team.
Okay.
So now you can't create your own team, but you can go to somebody that's a sponsor for the Smile Project, and they can create your team. Right. So in this case, Ray can create teams.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's not like anybody can come put a team on here, but they can go to the people that are sponsoring the project and go through them to put a team on. Right. But once your team's on, everybody that's on your team is creating smiles for you. Okay. And every smile is getting rewarded points. Right. So it's going to that team not only, it's going to both. It's going to the people that are creating the smile, and then whatever team they are is getting rewarded for that smile. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And is it like the app, Richie, like where can these, like once they smile, they can smile the next day, right? You would want to keep continuing to smile daily?
Yep. Yeah. Okay. It just you can only smile 1 day per smile carrier, right? Right. So I mean, if I make you smile today, I can't make you smile again, right?
Right.
But it has nothing to do with teams, right? I mean, the team. I mean, the smile carriers are all individual of the team, but their smiles go to the team. Does that make sense?
Right.
You saying they can do multiple teams in a day, though, right?
You bet. I mean, you're going to have people that are. I believe this is going to happen, Jamal. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I've done a lot of these, so I mean, I think you're going to find people that are they're sitting on this wall all day long, laughing at people, right? and watching how we're getting people come up with all different crazy things to get people to laugh, right?
Yep.
And some will be serious, some will be, where, you like for the orphanage, right? I mean, I mean, there's all different kind of ways you're going to hit the emotion of people, right?
Right.
And so, but I believe you're going to see a lot of people that are, when they start supporting the Smile Project, you're going to have the people creating the content, but you're going to have an army of people that are just sitting on this wall as seeing the stuff come in and be able to hit it. Now, this is a side note that a group that I've been around for a long time, and they're excited about, because right now, you guys in the influencers in the arena, you guys know how tough it is, right? You got to stay connected to your group, but you got to be careful right now what you are pushing out, right? So there's in the influencer arena right now, they're like, listen, what I can't, you got to get paid, right? I mean, it's like, it's your business. I mean, you're trying to make money in this thing. That's what you've been building your following for. And now you're trying to say, okay, well, I don't want to do this right now. I don't want to do this. So you're in this tight position, but you know that if you don't stay connected with your following, it starts dwindling, right? And they start losing interest. So you always got to be creating content. So, right now with the viruses, people aren't traveling. They're not doing their exotic shoots. They're not doing, I mean, all these different things, right, that are affecting their business. And so they were like, man, this will give us a way to get behind something that's great for charity, but it's also a great way to get, some interaction with our followers again, and have them join in with something and get that back up, because everybody that's on this. So when I'm looking on the Smile Tracker, and so and this was something we just started building for with the feedback from the influencer guys. So when we got the group of influencers on, we said, how can we help you guys do what you need to do? And they said, well, what we would like is to be able to, when people are looking at this leaderboard, because we know that people are going to follow it, we would like our social media to be next to our names, so we can pick up some followers, right? So as people are looking down through who's creating the most smiles, what they're going to do is they're going to click on that whatever, and you can put whatever platform that you are pushing, right? If it's maybe Instagram, maybe TikTok, it may be Facebook, it may be whatever it is, right? It'll show on there, and then it'll help the influencers be able to promote their own profiles, right? So everything that we're trying to do is benefit everybody that's making this happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And,
can I ask you something off subject?
yes.
That Magical Butter, is that a company? Because I know the CEO. I went to high school with him.
Yes, it is.
That's Garen Angel. You know him?
Yeah, you bet it is.
Get out of here. That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
You serious?
Yeah, I went to high school with him. Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got quite a little following.
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah, he made an awesome invention. He made marijuana out of butter, man. But yeah, no, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, he's they're gonna kick the turkey out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They do got quite a following.
But guys, I mean, listen, we just gotta make it fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we can do a lot of great things. It can benefit a lot of different people. It can benefit your interest along with helping other interests, right? And anytime you can do that, and have a win-win structure, it can be really enlightening for everybody. So I mean, I'm glad that we end up starting this project, and I'm more excited that how it's kind of came full circle on what the project has turned out to be, right?
Yeah.
So, but
Richie, let me ask you another question. So how does it work for, let's say, okay, so I have an orphanage, but let's say I want to take it to my church or take it to my the Boy Scouts or whatever, and try to build the network around, almost from the perspective of looking at it as a network marketing type thing, right? I know that it may not be, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. So,
how
I mean,
how does the structure work on behalf of, I'll say, like, as an influencer, I got all these various people out here and they're all listening to me. That's not me, but I'm just saying who they are. And then all those people start to do their own campaigns. How does that flow back up to the person and how do they distribute or can distribute those, coins and funds afterwards?
yeah. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of, I mean, I think that's kind of where people are going to get creative, right? Because it's like, okay, do I make so I'll give you an example. So we have two high schools that wanted to be against each other. They're both small high schools, right? And they were gonna put Cresswell and Harrisburg high schools up as teams. And then they all started talking about it. I said, listen, why don't we do this? Why don't we make Oregon high schools? And then we'll find somebody in California to get California's high schools. And we'll get somebody in Atlanta to get Atlanta high schools. And we'll get all of the high schools to get behind us. Instead of having 300 kids at our high school, now we have all the high schools in Oregon, right? And then we'll start working all those lists of get all the people and say, listen, come join the Oregon high school. Come join the Oregon high schools. We're competing against the Washington high schools. And that was, I mean, they're just kids, right? I mean, these kids are all, I mean, they're just high school kids. And I was like, man, that's thinking outside the box, right? I mean, so, cause I told them, I said, listen, the biggest thing you want is to see how many smiles you can get, and you're getting rewarded for this. So if you can only get 200 people in your high school smiling, then that's how big your reward package is going to be. But if you get all the high schools smiling for you, you could get some pretty large rewards, right? So Patrick, how to put that into yours is, maybe it's not the orphanage you put in as a team. Maybe it's the orphanages of the world, and you're trying to get all the orphanage to join, right, into that one team, right? And then it's just up to you what you do with the rewards. I mean, that's. I mean, listen, we're not promoting this thing as the teams aren't the reason why you're making the money, right? I mean, and that shouldn't be the reason why you're phoning an influencer and saying, listen, get on here so you can make some money. No, let's get on here and do the right thing. Let's bring some awareness to people. And there is some benefits, just like any social campaign that goes viral, right? I mean, if you push something out that goes viral, you're going to pick more users up. You're going to get more attention on your channel. I mean, there's all these other, intangibles, right? But what you end up doing with the coins you get, that's something that's you have to remember. Only the people that are smiling. Okay, so let's say that I see something on your guys's Twitter feed, and I hit it, and I say, yeah, I'll smile. Well, the application rewards me. I don't know why it rewarded me, but it gave me, for just smiling, I got rewarded, right? Because the trainer rewards you for activity. And then the person that created the smile, they got activity and they got rewarded. And they may not even know why they got rewarded. And then all that funnels up to the team, but there's only one person on the team. The team is only represented by one person.
Right.
And so they got rewarded. So what each one of us in that line of those three tiers, what we each do with our OS is going to be independent to what we want to do with it.
Okay.
And nobody will have control over it because it's literally in that person's wallet, right? So.
Right. I gotcha.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Anybody else? We all good, I think, because that's, it's, I've been talking to you, Richie, so I know.
Oh, guys, hey, listen, ask any question, right? I mean, strategy wise I've done this for quite a few years, right?
What's the timeline where we are right now?
Yeah, that's all about that myself.
So the timeline right now, we're going to be, if we get a stable chain by Monday, because we're just upgrading the chain right now. So we have to upgrade. We have to do a replay over the 50 million blocks. That's going to take a couple of days to replay, and then we'll probably let the chain run the rest of the week. And if everything the Smile project's ready, and we have the final audit. We did the final audit and the final edit. We audited the code and edited it on Friday, and they'll update all the texts and all the graphics and everything through this week, and then it's ready. So we've already ran a beta test through it. It's all ready. So I mean, the code wise is ready, and we're really just waiting for the app. The app, we're pushing a bunch of new code for the app, so the app doesn't confuse our users, right? So we're hoping at the latest at the end of next week to put on the teams we have in right now, and we'll do one call and we'll kind of say, hey guys, just bring a couple people on and let's play with us for over the weekend, and then the following week is to open it up to everybody.
Okay.
So we're close. I mean, we may be doing some smiles midweek next week if everything goes great this weekend. But I still don't look for a public release until the following week. And then even when we do that for the 4 weeks prior, for the next 4 weeks after that, it's still going to be, we're going to tell you guys go as hard as you can go, but we're going to limit the teams. So like if Ray wants to put on 25 teams, we're going to tell him, Ray, you can put on 2 or 3 teams right now.
Right.
So and just so we can make sure that everything is working before and tracking right, and we're working the bugs out before we get slammed, because some of these people have, ridiculous followings, right?
Sure.
And so one thing you don't want to happen when something goes viral is it breaks.
Sure.
Because you only get one shot for it to go viral. And then right when it goes viral, sorry guys, the site's down. We got to fix it. And that usually doesn't work very well.
Doesn't work.
So we're trying to hold everybody off that and the same thing goes with you guys. If you have big people that have huge followings, we're going to tell you to don't have them blow this thing out the first week, right? I mean, let's
ease into it. Let's ease into it.
Let's ease into the thing and let's get our feet beneath us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. Sounds good.
Awesome, pretty exciting. Could be fun. I'd rather throw smiles out at somebody than tear gas. So.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I think that it'll have a lot of dimensions of what we can do, and I think that the cool thing that I think Smile is going to be fun, but I think the cool experiment, the social experiment, is allowing people to find in their areas the people that have been affected. So instead of giving large sums of money out to different people, giving a bunch of small money out to a bunch of small groups that have been affected, but don't know how to go get the money, right? And they don't know how to ask for the money. And it might be a small food bank in a small town like Coos Bay, Oregon. And, they're used to getting, $1,200-1,300 a year that's going to pay their electricity. And they're not getting it this year. So now they're trying to find, $2,000 that they didn't have. And they would never be on Global Citizens wouldn't be ever funding them. Let's put it that way. Right. So there's Tiger and the boys go out and do a golf match and raise $60 million over the weekend. But this little group here in Coos Bay, Oregon, they're not getting any of that. Right. And so, this is a way for us to get this long tail reach into people that have been affected by the pandemic and bring exposure to them, get exposure to their needs. So not only are you going to, it's like when you come in here and confirm your Smile, over here will be a Twitter feed of everybody that's being affected that we're raising money for. And they're real people. They're not going to be, they have to create their own content. They have to tell you what's going on. So it's not going to be like, just a link over to the orphanage page, right? It's not the way it's going to work. The orphanage has to come on here and do a video and tell them what's going on, and tweet out so so the social proof can be taken on Twitter, because what ends up happening with websites, people can hide behind them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you post something out to Twitter and it isn't right, people will sniff that thing out.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they will. I mean, and we'll find out that, oh, you know, there is no orphanage in the Ukraine that even exists, right? And so I mean, it's really a cool social proof experiment, right?
Yeah.
And like I won't tell you the company, but there's a very large apparel company that's like, listen, if you guys can really show how we're crowdsourcing the people that need the money, we're social proofing that they really need the money, and then we're showing that when we give you the money, you're showing us on chain that it got distributed all to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, listen, if you really can pull that whole circle off, we'll really get behind this project.
Right.
So I mean, and that's everything. I mean, they're going to tell you exactly what they're taking on this. They're taking 5% of the donations to run the foundation, right? And 95% of the money is getting distributed with no remittance fees. So that meaning that we can send money to Africa, we could send money to South America, anywhere in the world, and we're not paying no fees to transfer that money. And especially when we start talking, where we want to try to cap this is a bunch of $500 to $1,500 donations to people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't get eaten up by remittance fees, but you'll be able to see on chain when the Smile Project sends $1,500 to a group in North Africa, that is going to be a great Smile team, by the way.
Right.
They when they get their donation sent to them, they'll get it sent in our currency. But when they get it, they can hit a button and turn it into their fiat on their side. But the cool thing with that is everybody gets to see all the money that's came into the Smile Project.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets to see it, and it's 100% transparent to where it goes. Right.
Right.
So I mean, that's like I said, I've been in humanitarian efforts, guys, for the last 17 years, 15 years heavily, and trying to sending the money places. There's so much leakage on where it finally gets to the right person, right? And so anyway, there's a lot of cool things that come from this project besides launching into our project. I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about the Opus project, but if the Opus project was live right now, it would literally be like everybody talking about it.
Right.
Because it is the ultimate DeFi, and DeFi is so hot right now. We're just kind of sitting there going, dang, man. I mean, it's just crazy, but we're like DeFi 2.0.
Right.
And these guys are all running smart contracts on Ethereum, and we're actually a whole chain that's specialized from ground up on DeFi, right? And DeFi is just decentralized finance, right? I mean, anything from lending to borrowing to.
Well, that's Opus's thing, is that, and then the facial recognition, right? That's
right. Well, I mean, when you're in the financial institutions, we need to know who you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And not so much to know since we're decentralized, we don't need to know who you are like on paper.
Right.
We just need to know that you are a real individual person.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what the chain is made for. In the financial world, we just need to know that if you're playing shenanigans in the banking world, you're going to have 16 different identities and 16 different bank accounts, right?
Right.
And so the way that we wanted, since the people own the bank, right, is each person is uniquely identified on chain, and that's all we need to know. Right. So, but it's you're going to need us, to be able to convert it into PE, to stake PE, to get your staking rewards, right? So that's just a little hint for you guys to make sure that it may seem silly right now.
It ain't gonna be in a little bit.
It ain't gonna be really silly when you think you're pushing a button and getting a few coins every day, and you're like, well, just remember that you were on some of these early calls and somebody, Ray probably told you it was important for you to push those buttons every day. Well, pretty soon you're going to be getting, you know, when the mining, this piece we're pushing out now, when the mining becomes dynamic, you might only get 2 OS all day long on your activity, right?
Right.
And you might get a quarter of an OS for signing up. But when the OS goes on auction against we have something we're going to release into the space that nobody's done before, and it's an auction that ties these chains together. And so when we launch the coin to be able to go into auction, it will create an oracle for that price of that coin with incredible liquidity. I mean, incredible liquidity. And liquidity is the name of the game in any financial product, right? So that's our background. So I mean, we've been building this thing to maximize liquidity, and so anyway, when we launch this thing, the demand on us is going to go through the roof, but the supply is what you're seeing in the supply right now is because we've been mining it for almost 13, 14 months. So the chain's been live and we've been mining it, but we haven't told anybody, just a small circle of people, right?
Mm.
So, but when you add 100,000 people onto it, all of a sudden the mining becomes very difficult.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, you know, it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder to get this, right?
Yep.
And the price is going to go up, but it's like, okay, well, I remember the day where I got on and I got 500 OS. You know, I don't know if you guys follow Bitcoin or all, but, you know, Jeremy, he cracks us up when he talks about a story about buying pizzas. You know?
Yeah. Those are some expensive pizzas, man.
Yeah. 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza, right? And we got a couple guys that are pulling jokes right now. They're selling stuff to friends for their OS.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're documenting it just so we can have a story down the road saying, man, you sold that
Weed whacker.
$50 weed whacker for 20 grand.
For 20 grand. That's a good weed whacker.
That was a good weed whacker, right? The funny part is, you know, they're both friends, and one sold, or one spent 20 grand on a $50 weed whacker, but the other one, they sold a weed whacker for 20 grand. Right?
He came out nice.
Create some good stories, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
But anyway, you guys, I mean, listen, I mean, I'm going to be doing calls. Like, I probably won't do any calls Monday and Tuesday, but from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, I'll be doing calls with teams, and you guys are more than welcome to come on. You're more than welcome to hit me on Skype and ask any questions. If you have any kind of strategies or anything that you're trying to think of, anything I can help you guys out with anything that I've done in the past, you know, or just how this could, you know, exactly how this is going to work. If you need more explanation, you know, I will be more than open book for you.
Cool. Thanks, Richie. Appreciate you, man.
Sounds
You
great,
bet.
man. I'm
Thank
excited.
you.
All right. Everybody have an awesome weekend.
Will do.
Yep.
Thank you.
And enjoy it.
Yep. You too. See ya.
Hey, thanks, guys.